I think today's video is going to be very interesting to you because this is basically an answer to all those questions that you've been asking me about the Australian job market. What skills or qualifications do you need to get into a specific role or industry? Perhaps you want to do a career change, or you are a migrant coming to Australia and you want to see which specific state you'd like to live in. So today I'm going to be answering all those questions by giving you an amazing online tool. So if you've seen all my previous videos about working in Australia, you'll see that I talk a lot about this online website by the Australian government called Job Outlook. Today I'm here to tell you that this website has been updated and the new name is Labour Market Insights. I want to show you the power of this and how easy it is to do a bit of research on your industry so you're ready and prepared to get started with your job search or your move to Australia. So let's get started. So as you can see here, we're in the website Labour Market Insights, and you can basically filter by region, industries and occupations. So for example, you are interested in a specific region, you click on employment region, explore, and here you're going to have a little map that shows you each Australian state. So for example, you're interested in coming to Melbourne, here is southeastern Melbourne, here is the city, the CBD, the inner metropolitan Melbourne. It basically gives you an overview of each area within Melbourne. You can also do this by state, and yeah, it basically gives you an overview of employment by industry. But something more interesting, let me go back. When you're here in the main page, you'll get different insights about the Australian job market. So for example, here you have that Australia has a working population aged between 15 years old and 64. Employment rate in Australia is at 77.8% and unemployment rate is currently at 3.5%. Alright, so if you keep scrolling down, you have a lot of amazing data here that you can explore. So here, for example, you can see employment projections or recruitment projections, right? So let me show you employment projections. So you click on here, and basically this site gives you a forecast of the Australian labour market in the next 5 years. So it says that over the next 5 years to November 2026, employment in Australia is projected to increase across 19 industries. So it says that the main industries here in Australia, the ones that are projected to have a strong employment growth, are the healthcare and social assistance sector, hospitality services, professional scientific and technical services, and education and training. And of course, if you click here, you can explore each industry in more detail. Then you have here a nice graph explaining projected employment growth within each industry, the occupational skill level. Then you can go back if you want, and then you can see recruitment experiences. So recruitment activity here in Australia is at 58%, recruitment difficulty rate 67%. If you want to go back, you can search by your industry and you have a little list here. So for example, if you are in construction, you can explore and it gives you a nice overview of the construction industry. For example, there are over 1 million people employed. Only 13% are female. So it's mainly a male population in the construction industry. It has a projected future growth of 6.8%. Weekly earnings, this is very important. Looking at weekly earnings and your salary, weekly salary is very important because this is going to help you prepare, for example, for a job interview or a screening call. When they call you after you've applied for a job, they might ask you what's your expected salary, and you can give an indication of what's your salary range. I always recommend giving a salary range from low to high, low being your ideal salary. You don't want to go lower than that. Anyway, this is an amazing website to check the different salary levels in each industry because yeah, it will give you an estimate. And of course, always look as well at job ads. Job ads, usually they give you the salary package, and that's an amazing indicator as well to see how much you should be asking. So basically set a realistic salary level. So if you continue, if you go back, so now you can see per industry. So it's up to you to check whatever industry you want. Occupations, perhaps you want to be more detailed. So for example, if you're an accountant, you write accountant and you click on explore. Here you have accountants. So here you have an overview of the amount of people that are employed as accountants in Australia. Strong growth, projected growth 9.2%, weekly earnings of 1,700. started. Here you have the tasks of an accountant in Australia. Skill level is very high. You have all the different specializations within accountants or similar related jobs as well. And then the employment outlook. So the occupation of accountant is expected to grow strongly. And another interesting fact, for example, is that the median hourly earnings of an accountant are at $47, which is much more than the average for all jobs here in Australia. And for example, here you have main industries, which means where are accountants mainly employed in Australia, in which industries or services. This is another very interesting statistic. Employment of accountants basically across Australia. Accountants are mainly working in New South Wales. So this is another very interesting feature of this website, is that when you search by occupation, you get a glimpse as well or insights on which states accountants are mainly working. Worker profile, that's another very interesting stat. Half of the accountant population is female, which is good, really good. And the average age is 38 years old. And if you keep scrolling down, you'll find out as well that you have employment pathways. So that is the qualifications that you can take to become an accountant or get certified as an accountant. And for example, here it says that the minimum qualification required to be an accountant is a diploma of accounting. However, the majority of accountants have a bachelor degree. And then you have a list of all the skills and knowledge required to be an accountant. So this is very interesting. I encourage you to do a bit of research on this site. And there's one more thing that I want to show you. So if you go back to the main page, if you go up to the tab topics, you can click on migrants. You can download this PDF and you'll see that you have a nice overview of the Australian labour market for migrants, a nice description of what's happening in terms of opportunities. So here, for example, you have a very nice overview of employment growth in Australia. So the industry that grew the most was the healthcare and social assistance services. The financial and insurance services industry is the one that has the strongest rates of employment growth. Here you have as well a bit of an overview of migrant unemployment, and this is one of the reasons why I'm doing this channel, is the fact that migrants, when they first come to Australia, at least during their first 5 years, they present high unemployment rates. And this is for a variety of reasons, mainly because of language barriers, sometimes because they don't get their overseas qualifications recognized, because they don't have local references or local work experience, or they might not be familiar on how to create their job application or how to apply for jobs, etc. And this is a statistic for basically every migrant around the world. And yeah, of course, it takes time. And this is mainly as well for professional employment. The good thing though is that as you get more familiar on how to prepare your job applications, you get more familiar with the Australian work requirements and employment laws, it is much more likely, and also as you practice your English, it's much more likely that you're going to get a job. That's why please make use of all the free resources as well that I have here in this channel. And if you want me to cover any other areas, leave a comment below and I'll try to make a video about that. As I said, I encourage you to go and explore this site. It's very, very useful. Check out all these videos if you want more info on how to write your resume, how to write a cover letter, everything to know about working in Australia. And I'll see you next time. Bye.